For what you should eat to improve your mood and your energy.
Eyewitness News, the Chicago area's leading news, with John Drury, Marianne Childers, Tim Weigel, and Jerry Tag.
Good evening. He wears a badge, carries a gun, and is sworn to uphold the law. But tonight, a Chicago police officer finds himself on the wrong side of the law, accused of being a cocaine cop. Tonight, Officer Reginald Lee is behind bars, arrested by fellow officers in a sting operation. They say he tried to sell them cocaine with a street value of $100,000. Police say that Lee was armed when he was arrested. Channel 7's Kent Ninomiya has late details. Kent?
John, Reginald Lee has been here at the Narcotics Division all night talking to the state's attorney, who is trying to figure out exactly what charges to file against him. Reginald Lee is a 4-year veteran of the Chicago Police Force. He worked with the 5th District patrolling the parks on the south side. Now, his arrest comes after an investigation that lasted several weeks, ever since the police got a tip that one of their own was selling drugs, sometimes while wearing his uniform. Tonight, Reginald Lee faces charges of delivery of cocaine and possession with intent to sell. Investigators say Reginald Lee and his brother Tracy Lee drove a Mercedes to this corner at Racine and Taylor to meet a man they thought was a drug buyer. He turned out to be an undercover narcotics officer. Police say Lee then tried to sell the officer this kilogram of uncut cocaine with a street value nearly $100,000. He also allegedly offered to sell the officer another kilogram of cocaine later. The Lee brothers were immediately arrested.
He was sitting on a gun, and he had nothing to say. He said that he's been caught and he'll have to do his time.
Police say Reginald Lee was sitting on this loaded .25 caliber pistol and also had 6 ounces of marijuana on him. A search of his home here on South Damon turned up $21,000 in cash, more cocaine, marijuana, and crack. They also confiscated his service revolver, a Ruger .357 Magnum. The commander of the Narcotics Division says he worked closely with Internal Affairs to catch this crooked cop.
We've already taken his gun and star away from him, and he will be suspended and will never work as a police officer again.
Reginald Lee was scheduled to work today, but if the Chicago Police gets its way, he will never work as a police officer again. He is expected to be in court tomorrow, not as a cop, but as a prisoner. Reporting live from 35th and Normal, Kent Ninomiya, Channel 7 Eyewitness News. Marianne, back to you.
Thank you, Kent. Now to a story that's still breaking tonight. An innocent father of 4 young children is killed after being caught in gang crossfire. The scene of the shooting is Cermak and Hamlin on Chicago's west side. Channel 7's Suzanne Rico is standing by live with the details for us. Suzanne?
Marianne, 41-year-old Joseph White lived just 3 houses down from where we're standing, literally feet from where he was gunned down in tonight's shootout, apparently the victim of yet more gang warfare. Now, apparently White was on his way home from work about 8 p.m. when one group of alleged gang members in a car and another group on the street began firing at one another. Now, White was hit in the chest and the arm, but he was able to crawl to his own porch, and that's where emergency personnel found him. Now, police searched for clues tonight and questioned White's neighbors, unsuccessfully looking for witnesses. Those neighbors say White was a key part of this neighborhood, and he will be sorely, sorely missed.
Are you pretty broken up about this? He's a good guy?
Yes, very good. Hard-working young man with a family. So I just don't know. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. His sister just called us from the hospital and told us that he had died.
Now, apparently White was still conscious when he crawled to his porch to his wife and family. He is the father of 4 children. We understand that police were able to question him just briefly, but unfortunately White died en route to Mount Sinai Hospital tonight. Reporting live from 22nd and Hamlin, Suzanne Rico, Channel 7 Eyewitness News. Back to you.
Thank you, Suzanne. A strange story is emerging tonight about a 2-year-old girl who was found lying in a suitcase in a Chicago alley. The child is identified as Shanthara Mathis. With her in the open suitcase, a dead cat. A neighbor called police when the girl's grandmother was seen dragging the suitcase through the snow and then leaving it in the alley. Police say the grandmother is apparently mentally ill and had been left to babysit the little girl. No charges have been filed. Shanthara, by the way, is in good condition tonight. She shows no signs of abuse. Tonight, the state's attorney's office has decided not to file criminal charges against a bilingual teacher who's accused of fondling several students at a South Side school. The teacher works at Hamlin Elementary on South Bishop Street. 58-year-old teacher was accused by 7 grade school girls of sexually inappropriate behavior while lecturing on prostitution. Parents are angry about the decision, but the teachers' union general counsel says this teacher did nothing wrong.
He was just, of course, shocked by the allegations and surprised that students made these kinds of allegations because there's no basis for them whatsoever.
The Chicago Board of Education will be conducting its own investigation. In the meantime, the teacher will remain on the payroll.
In Marietta, New York tonight, investigators are trying to figure out what caused the scare on Flight 795. The Continental Airlines jet still sits at the end of a runway at New York's LaGuardia Airport and just a few feet from Flushing Bay. 35 of the 116 people on board were hurt when the pilot aborted his takeoff last night. Authorities are trying to retrieve the plane's voice and flight data recorders to see what went wrong. Pilots consider LaGuardia to be one of the nation's riskiest airports because of its short runways. New York and the rest of the East Coast are on the weather watch tonight. The region is locked in the grips of a classic nor'easter. This is Boston, caught in the storm that swooped up the East Coast, dumping more than 2 feet of snow and closing everything from banks and schools to businesses. Parts of Massachusetts have received 88 inches of snow this winter. Philadelphia tonight is buried under another ½ foot of new snow, and quite a few motorists are checking their motor club coverage. After 4 or 5 years of mild winters, the East Coast has now staggered under 52 days of bad weather. In Delaware, the problem is flooding. Heavy snow combined with temperatures that warm up too quickly have caused extensive flooding. Fortunately for all concerned, there are no big storms on the horizon for a week or so. But many New England states historically suffer their worst snows in March and in April. Maria?
Tonight, John, President Clinton is escalating the conflict with Japan over trade. He's reviving a tough trade law to try and force Japan to open up its markets. This law imposes harsh tariffs on countries that shut out American goods. And tonight, another security scare for the Prince of Wales. London police arrested a man wielding a kitchen knife outside a movie theater where Prince Charles was scheduled to attend a premiere. The prince didn't arrive until 20 minutes later. This is the second recent incident involving the prince's safety. Just several weeks ago in Australia, a man with a starter pistol lunged at the prince. The would-be attacker was thrown to the ground within just a few feet of His Highness.
Well, up next, the Democrats who want Jim Edgar's job battle face-to-face tonight in the debate. Also, a spectacular fire, how police will respond now that their station is burned down.
And some people take a nap when they fly, but it's not a great idea when you're the pilot. You'll hear one of this flyer's amazing story. Later in sports, find out if it was Error Jordan today as Michael competes in his first intra-squad showdown.
Announcing a sale so big, you'll wonder how we managed to pull it off. Carson's 12-hour sale this Saturday. Stores open at 9 a.m. At Carson's, you've come to the right place.
I got a Michael Jordan MVP cup, a Michael's favorite burger from McDonald's. He's bound to let me play one-on-one.
Hurry into McDonald's today for Michael's favorite extra value meal, the Double Big Mac. And for 39 cents more, supersize it or any extra value meal for more fries and more drink. And get an MVP collector cup free.
Charles, you shouldn't have. So what do you say?
Just this once.
What you want is what you get.
To my dear friend Charles.
At McDonald's today.
Every Neon comes with an advanced single overhead cam 16-valve engine, and its 132 high-tech horses should come in mighty handy when you're trying to coax your car onto a freeway. $94.75 for starters, $13,000 nicely loaded. Say hello to Neon.
Come meet Automobile Magazine's Automobile of the Year and the nice Dodge dealers who sell it.
With less than 2 weeks until the '94 primary vote, the 3 top Democratic hopefuls for governor were back in the ring, and tonight was their final debate. As Channel 7's Andy Shaw tells us, the candidates stuck to familiar ground.
The Democratic primary campaign for governor has become more than anything a referendum on Dawn Clark Netch's plan to raise the state income tax to pay for education and soften the blow by reducing property taxes. She's claiming to be the only straight shooter in the campaign, but at tonight's debate, her opponents are trying to make her scratch.
My opponent, Dawn Netch, comes up with a plan that really it missed the side pocket, it missed the corner pocket. Now what she's going to do, she's going to pick your pocket.
Is 42% increase going to result in 42% increase in graduations? Or 42% higher ACT or SAT scores?
Under my plan, the most that anyone in the state will pay is 1.5% on their state income tax, not 42%. As a matter of fact, if it were a 42% tax increase, I wouldn't vote for it myself.
Richard Phelan says the state should grab a much bigger share of the riverboat gambling profits before raising any taxes.
When a handful of millionaires are able to make $500 million over the course of 2 years, I think that is absolutely obscene.
Some of the other debate highlights: Burris accusing Netch of trying to buy the election with her husband's money, Phelan blasting Burris for refusing any more debates, and Netch answering the big question by saying she learned to play pool back in high school. I'm Andy Shaw, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Well, Channel 7 and the Daily Herald are joining forces to present an election poll. Pollsters are in the field right now, and you'll see the results beginning Saturday night on Channel 7 News at 10 o'clock.
Well, 3 people remain hospitalized in serious condition tonight following a fire at the River Forest Government Complex. The complex housed the police department, but the city insists that police service will not be interrupted by the fire. The officers will now work out of their squad cars while nearby Forest Park takes over communications functions. It's a situation that will continue for quite a while.
It was a very smooth transition. The officers were able to receive all their calls. We really had no disruption as far as police services were concerned.
The complex had no sprinklers. The cause of the fire is believed to be electrical.
And still ahead, meteorologist Jerry Taft with the latest on the weekend warm-up. And then, is it a fountain of youth in a simple little pill? New research just out. Ask that question.
Also, find out why Barbra Streisand is selling millions of dollars worth of her prized possessions. Plus, it's a brand new comedy from the makers of Parenthood. Tonight, Roger Ebert reviews Greedy, starring Michael J. Fox.
In a desperate moment, in the dark of the night,
Put your arms around me.
in the arms of a killer,
I waited for you all day.
even a good cop can get in too deep.
You said you'd protect me. Do it now.
I just want to know the truth. Tell me the truth.
I am.
Ed Harris, Madeline Stowe,
I love you.
China Moon.
If you ever love me, trust me now.
Rated R. Starts Friday, March 4th.
0 to 60. Straight versus slalom. A demonstration of who Lexus is relentlessly pursuing. The all-new Cadillac Seville SLS with the North Star system. Now with the new power of a smart lease. Just $499 a month for 24 months and $2,200 down. Seville SLS, creating a higher standard.
When Serta Saver supermarkets say we work for you, you can believe it. They're independently owned supermarkets, but they all work together for me. So they have the quality I want, the variety, and fabulous prices. Just look in this week's circular to see how they work for you. There are savings like Prince Spaghetti, 39 cents. Tropicana Pure Premium Orange Juice, $1.79. Taster's Choice Coffee, $2.99.
You always get more at a Serta Saver store because we work for you.
4 nearly departed souls are attached to Thomas Riley.
How are ya?
We're supposed to have you help finish things for us.
I want your body. No, that's not funny.
Robert Downey Jr., Charles Grodin, Heart and Souls from MCA Universal Home Video, rated PG-13.
Now you can experience the Hollywood Soundtracks collection only at Blockbuster Video. Cassette $199, CD $299 with any 2 movie rentals. How far would you go to get that? Better run. It's only for a limited time.
Tonight's weather is brought to you by your local Ford dealer, a participating advertiser. Quality people, quality products.
If there is a fountain of youth, it may not be in the form of water. Tonight, a health advocacy group believes the answer to slowing the aging process may be vitamins. To be more specific, antioxidants, beta-carotene, vitamin C, and vitamin E. The Alliance for Aging Research is recommending that Americans increase their intake. The group says there's enough proof now that these vitamins can prevent many age-related chronic illnesses. Antioxidants are found in numerous fruits and vegetables, and they can also be taken in supplement form.
Well, Barbra Streisand is among the people making news tonight, and she's also making money. These Art Deco items are just part of the singer's prize collection. Streisand decided to simplify her life by putting them up for auction at Christie's in New York. She raked in nearly $6 million, $1.9 million coming from this 1932 painting of Adam and Eve. TV's Roseanne Arnold was basking in fan frenzy right here in Chicago. Hundreds of fans waited hours for a chance to buy autographed copies of the sitcom queen's new book. Roseanne clearly enjoying the huge turnout. And tonight, there's something in the wings for Johnny Carson's late-night fans. The Tonight Show and its famous host charmed audiences for 30 years. Next spring, you'll be able to watch again anytime. A 4-volume home video set is in the works, featuring favorite moments from The Tonight Show, chosen by Johnny Carson himself.
Well, John, this is being called an aviation first. A private pilot asleep at the controls of his plane. He crash lands in the ocean, and he lives to tell about it. For Jim Rich, it was supposed to be a 1-hour flight from Springfield, Kentucky to Crossville, Tennessee. But he fell asleep in the cockpit. Luckily, he was on automatic pilot. Crossville, Tennessee came and went, and Jim's plane flew over Georgia, Florida, and out into the Gulf. He finally woke up 3 hours later and sent out a mayday. He tried to make Clearwater, Florida for a landing, but his fuel was running low. At the same time, 2 Coast Guard planes caught up with him and videotaped him as he ditched his craft. He had only one remaining problem. Jim can't swim.
I stood up on the wing and tucked one cushion under each arm, and by this time I was between knee-deep and waist-deep in water, and it was starting to tilt forward, so it was going to be hard to stand there any longer anyway, so I just stepped into the water.
Lucky guy. 20 minutes later, Jim was plucked out of the water, and he says, yeah, he is lucky, but his $75,000 plane's gone, and guess what? He's in just a little trouble with the FAA. Can you
Never
imagine
happened
that?
to Jerry.
No, never happened to me. 3 hours sleeping in a plane. He would never be able to work the morning shift here and get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. That alarm would be on forever. Forever. We had a beautiful day here, and it looks like we have some very nice weather coming up for the weekend. Certainly no problems to speak of around here. We still have that storm up in the northeast, however. But
there's more to come tonight, a race for mayor that's decided by a hand of poker.
But first, tonight's winning Indiana lottery numbers.
Nowadays, you see more and more Alamo cars in America's business regions. From the Sun Belt to the Grain Belt to inside the Beltway. You see our Cadillacs on Wall Street and our convertibles in Tinseltown. No matter which belt, coast, or loop you travel to on business, you're in Alamo territory with more on-airport locations than ever and all the miles free, including those in places where doing business isn't all business.
Don Clark Netsch has an honest plan to get Illinois moving again. Senator Paul Simon praises the Netsch plan, and Senator Carol Mosley Braun and Mayor Daley support the Netsch plan because it's fair for working families. Meanwhile, Dick Phelan and Roland Burris take shots at Don Clark Netsch, but they offer no plans of their own, so the choice is clear. Burris and Phelan, the guys who won't shoot straight, or Don Clark Netsch, a straight shooter for Illinois' working families.
Centuries ago, an ingenious Italian chef, inspired by his love for pasta, created a masterpiece called ravioli. At Contadina, we've taken that passion a step further with our chicken and rosemary ravioli. Like all Contadina refrigerated pastas, it's always freshly made for a tender-hearted taste that's hard to resist. Try it with our exquisite pesto with sun-dried tomatoes and create your own work of art. Contadina refrigerated pastas and sauces, the freshest ideas in Italian cooking.
The courts ordered my ex-husband to pay child support, but he never did. The person that really helped me was Ori Paczynski.
She got me the help I needed. She turned my life around.
I created a special service unit to locate missing parents, help thousands of working mothers get the child support they deserve, and more than double the number of support checks to single-parent families. You see, I believe fathers, not taxpayers, should support their kids.
Ori Paczynski. She gets results.
Recapping our top stories, a Chicago policeman is behind bars tonight accused of selling drugs. Officer Reginald Lee was arrested by fellow officers in a sting operation. An innocent father caught in gang crossfire is gunned down outside his home on Chicago's west side. 41-year-old Joseph White died before he reached the hospital. And the winter-weary East Coast is battling another storm. Many areas have been hit with more than a foot of snow. Everything from schools to businesses are closed.
And finally, way out in the Old West, they still do things differently. Take the town of Willard in New Mexico. Not a big town. Folks are real friendly. So when two candidates for mayor tied in the election, no six-shooters drawn here. Instead, the candidates sat down to a hand of 5-card stud to settle the matter. Who had the best hand? Well, you poker players figure it out. In any case, the winner was Alfonso Valdez.
I'm usually lucky at cards, so I kind of wanted it that way. I'm a good poker player.
Folks here say it's a political victory that's sure to go down in the history books. Well, maybe in Willard, but not here.
Well, that's our report for tonight. I'm John Drury.
And I'm Mary Ann Childers. Jim Rose, Jerry Taft, and the entire Channel 7 News team, thanks for joining us, and good night.